benefits and some of the wonderful things early on in your journey that you can look forward to with this hairstyle. And so that's what we're going to dig into today. Whatever you want to contribute that has to do with all the wonderful things that you've experienced with your Sisterlocks, please place it in the comments. For those of you who may not be that happy with your Sisterlocks or Microlocks right now, I want you to take a moment of reflection. And I want you to look back on the early days, and I want you to still share some of the highs and the things that you remember that made you happy about this style. I'll never forget how I came to Sisterlocks. And also, how I began to appreciate the fact that I knew someone who already had Sisterlocks, and they were able to influence me just because I looked at the beauty of the locks. They were able to influence me to actually get Sisterlocks. When I came to Sisterlocks over 13 years ago, over 13 years ago, it was because I had combined hair color and henna. I'd always used henna, and I'd always used hair color as well, but I used them too close to one another, and as a result, my hair began to fall like crazy. The combination of those two things wreaked havoc on my hair, and as it began to just come out by the handfuls, I cannot tell you how mortified, how hellified, and how horrified I was. Eventually, my hair was coming out to about here. And so I had to end up going to the barber and having it all cut. And I was traumatized, to say the least. So I began to maintain my hair for a couple of years. I was doing twists. I hadn't gone without a perm or relaxer in decades. So I was like, why is it that when I spend all this time doing my hair upstairs, and I curl it or I blow dried it, and then I go downstairs to the kitchen and it's already starting to draw up like within a 30-minute period. So I was like, this is not gonna, I don't have time for this. I'm not one of those people, never was, never do it today, nor will I ever be a person that spends a lot of time in the mirror getting dressed, trying to look a certain way. I got a 3-minute face and I need 2-minute hair or less. And so I decided, after seeing 2 ladies that I knew, I decided to go ahead and give Sisterlocks a try. And after I made it through the initial years and my hair began to compress in year 5, throughout that whole journey though, I began to learn a lot about myself, as much as learn a lot about my hair and what my hair liked to do and what my hair didn't like to do. After year 5, I began to really experience, my hair was always like, it got so puffy, it took my locks forever to compress. So my hair would always hold tons of water. It would get so heavy and get so big. But after year 5, it began to become a little bit more controllable. Who's to say if that was thinning that I was experiencing? No, I know what my hair is like, so I don't believe it was at that stage of the game. But I can tell you that I began to really start to I loved my Sisterlocks. I began to really be just so grateful. My hair was bountiful. My hair was abundant. It required very little from me other than the things that I enjoyed doing, which was making sure it was untangled, which was, combing through it with my hands, which was spraying it with my oil, the oil that you can get here on the channel, which you all hear me talk about all the time. You can get it on the I Am Melanin Magic website. All of the things that I had to do when I curled it with the pipe cleaners, or I used the sponge rollers and gave it some feminine bounce. I just had never been in a space where I never had a bad hair day and I never had to worry about the rain. I mean, bliss. So if you are thinking about Sisterlocks, or if you've had Sisterlocks, regardless of where you are in your journey right now, I know you can reflect on a time where you couldn't wait to just look in the mirror and see all of the bounty. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just know that you can think of a time where you were free to be creative with your hair, and not have to suffer the consequences because maybe you had put too much heat on it. Okay? Or maybe you had, had a situation where you were being burned around the head because you were using too much heat, or the curling iron, or the straightening comb, or whatever else. Never had a situation where you had very little to do in the morning when you awakened except to be thankful to God that you made the right choice about your locks. When I talk about carefree, when I talk about a perfect style for exercise, for swimming, for people who are on the go, for people who want to look beautiful, for people who don't want to put chemicals in their hair, for people who want to have the versatility sometimes that larger locks don't allow you, this is the style for you. This is the style that will give you freedom from wigs, freedom from the lace front, freedom from the chemicals, freedom from the straightening combs. It gives you the ability to look the way that you want to look, but still be in your African textured hair. Still feel like more of yourself. For many of us, it gives you the opportunity to embrace more of who you are, to love more of the diversity, of the beauty of the woman that is of the African diaspora. So you get the diversity, you get the freedom, you get the hair abundance, you get the increased sense of self when you embrace this hairstyle. Not to mention the sisterhood that you begin to benefit from as you move about your daily life and you see other sisters that have either Microlocks or Sisterlocks, and you find that there's a natural synergy between you and those people. Same thing as what happened to me here on the channel. I have made friends from all over the world, from Tanzania to Jamaica to Belgium to the UK to the United States, from California to New York, from all over the place. I know people in high places. I'm so lucky, and so will you, all because you decided to go sister-locked or micro-locked, and you are beautiful for having made that decision, because it was still better than continuing to go down the route of some of the other things that you might have done to tear at your hair. So when you make this decision, know that with the decision to have Sisterlocks are going to come a lot of blessings. So many blessings. Also know that to preserve your hairstyle and to continue to feel as good as you did in the beginning, it's going to be important that you stay informed, and it's going to be important that your hair care regimen and the way that you care for your hair and all of the other things that you do, down to the rituals and the frequency of doing the rituals such as the retightening, you have to be ready to evolve. Those things are going to have to evolve too. If you continue doing things the exact same way that you did in the beginning with regard to, laying the framework or the foundation for this style, the tightness, the retightenings, and all of that, it's going to chip away little by little at the sanctuary that you were able to embellish yourself in when you decided to get Sisterlocks. It's going to chip away at the health of your hair. There are very real decisions that you'll have to make. There are some strategies that you will have to implement in order to prolong the life of the journey that you love so much. And 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be your loctician that's going to tell you that, because up until this point, the majority of locticians, even those who have lost hair to Sisterlocks, are not really talking about it. Everybody is hush hush. Okay, so stay informed. You're with Tanisha Ali of the I Am Melanin Magic brand of Tanisha's Locks, beauty tips, and potpourri, bringing you the facts, the story, the information, and the knowledge so that you can be armed as it relates to your Sisterlocks, so that you don't have to ask the question, why are my Sisterlocks thinning? You can find me on the I Am Melanin Magic website. You can set up either a preventative or a breakdown maintenance consultation. You can also purchase the ebook there that will tell you the A to Z's of everything you need to know if you have Sisterlocks, if you're thinking about getting Sisterlocks, and even if you need support for why you might have to walk away from Sisterlocks and pivot. Of course, that won't be everyone's story, but it most definitely is the story of some people out there today. You're with Tanisha Ali. Keep coming back because more will be revealed.